Yeah, no, that was off. I know.
All right, Coach, can y'all hear the music? Coach, we got them G-men here today. Championship pedigree. A lot of teams, a lot of guys we bring on, they trying to turn things around. They trying to make something out of nothing. Grambling is already something.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to HBCU Coaches Corner with a very special edition where we will interview live on HBCU Coaches Corner the head coach of Grambling State University, Coach Mickey Joseph. Before we get started, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Stephen Campbell, representing FAMU, and our featured host from what's that school out down in Houston? I can't think of the name of Texas Southern University. Texas Southern University. With a long winning tradition, a total of 2 championships in 100 years. My co-host, my man, Johnnie Cole.
Well, hey, look, if it was groceries, I ran away with all the groceries. One of the championships, the MVP, the President's Award, my 2 degrees. So, I'm winning. I'm winning.
You got everything you could get out of Texas Southern, didn't you, Coach?
Well, hey, look, everything, man. And, fortunately, 2 of my daughters followed me and got at least 1 degree out of there. And, man, I can't say enough. And the opportunity, Coach, to play basketball and football during my time there. So, that's my school. I wear it underneath. And, I'm very proud to be a Texas Southern University alumni.
Coach, let me say this, Coach. You have a long storied history in college coaching, and he's crossed many paths. And the gentleman that we're going to bring on here shortly is somebody that you identified very early as having some talent in the coaching profession, and it wasn't surprising to you that he was selected to be Grambling's head coach 2 years ago. You expected big things from him when he was hired, and he's on the path, on the trajectory to deliver on some of those expectations, considering that they're picked to finish second in the West. I know this is a good friend of yours, so I'm going to go ahead and let you do the introduction, Coach. But I just wanted to get those things out in the atmosphere because, Coach, you spoke very highly of Mickey Joseph.
Another coach that kind of came up underneath my tutelage, and I had an opportunity. I could remember the day because we were close. Me and Coach Joseph, we done things off the field as well with family and each other. And the day he told me that he had an opportunity to go to Nicholls State, I told him, hey, man, that's great. You get to go back home because, of course, we were at Alabama State together, coming off of a great season. You get to go home and, you get to move around, and it's hard to say, but it's true to say that it's hard leaving from HBCU school and moving into those other conferences. It's gotten better, but it was really hard. And, I told him, man, that's if you feel that's what's good for you and your family, because, my brother ended up giving him his first college football job. Not only that, he became the first head football coach of Nebraska. He's bounced around there. He's a great recruiter out of New Orleans. And I think he's going to really, really get things done over at Grambling, being a native of Grambling. It's hard following a man that won 400 games. It's hard. Then another great guy named Doug Williams, and then another guy that won there as well, Farbs. So that's from that's it. You either win or you bust there at Grambling, and that's hard. That's hard to do when you rebuild it. But I think they got the right guy. He has brought him up. They gave him a new contract, man, and I want to bring him on. My friend, another young great coach coming up, Coach Mickey Joseph.
Appreciate y'all, man. And I always say, my loyalty always lies with JC and LC. And like Johnny said, I spent more time with JC than LC, but Johnny showed me how to coach, because I was a GA coming from Tulane, and that was my first room. And I do remember the Troy game where we had about 6 or 7 drops. And Johnny came in my individual and said, okay, tell me what you're doing with your individual. And I showed him what I was doing. He said, okay, watch me. And he came in my individual. And I never looked down on it. I just looked at it as a learning tool. And it was a teachable moment, for him to show me what I need to do, the circle the balls and keeping their eyes on the ball. So he showed me how to do it. He showed me how to write circles on the board. I didn't know how to do that. When the first time I wrote the circles, they were slanted. He was like, no. So he kept me up on the board for like almost an hour, just writing this, because he always said, when you stand in front of these kids, you gotta know what you're doing, and if you don't know, you gotta act like you know. So he showed me a lot, on the field, off the field. We hung out, and like you said, we had family. But that was my first opportunity, and I think LC and I think Tony Samuels also, who called me and said, hey, you need to take this job. But it's like JC's probably one of the greatest minds that I've been around, because the first time I went up in a box, I had my headsets on, I had everything written down. And Russ, who's our old line coach, said he's gonna talk to you between series. I'm like, nah, he's gonna have a headset on. But he was calling the plays with no headset, and I talked to him between series. So I learned that, and it's a lot of things that I do right now on offense. Is the way we install. We install a certain way, and I learned that from Johnny. That if I'm gonna put trips in, I'm gonna put trips in every personnel. Every personnel, and I'm finally doing that again this year in his work. But he's one of the greatest minds, and and some people says that okay, he's this, and I'm like, no, he's a great man. He's a big brother of mine, and if I want the truth about what's going on, he's gonna tell me. And everybody can't do that, and that's why I'm so truthful with what I say. But I heard Jermaine on here today, like LC and JC, they spoiled us, because they said, hey, you got to do more with less. Well, I think it's 2026 and it's not 1999 anymore. We got to pick it up a little bit. And, this is probably one of the greatest set of coaches that I've been around with with LC, because I was on special teams with LC, and he used to slap me with that hat. When I was back there with him. And, but he also said, Mick, I'm gonna pay you $33,000. But when I got here, he gave me $35,000 because I was from Nebraska. So I was happy because of that, but I wouldn't trade those moments. And it was about, when it was time to leave, is coming home to my family at the time, and also getting back into teacher retirement. And I thank God that they gave me the blessing, because now I can retire in the state of Louisiana with my 2 higher salaries, one being at 500, and the other one being at 550. So I understand. At the time, I didn't understand why, but but he told me, you got to do what's your best for you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Coach, man, I tell you, it's a long way from LSU, and I would let folks know how much of a great recruiter he is. When he coached all those wide receivers at LSU, I think 5 of them was in the NFL, something like that.
Yeah, I organized, because we were very organized at Alabama State. We was very organized, and that's one thing people didn't understand. Like, how did we come in there and turn that around so quick, and how did we have success? Because they came and they were organized, everything that we did.
Yeah, Coach. You got your new contract.
Hmm.
Now I don't want to know if it's signed, don't sign. Is it? At least you got one, so you can kind of lay back a little bit more and see what you got. And it's tough when you coaching on nails. Now that they've nailed the nails in the wall. How you feeling now, and how your first week went.
Well, just with the contract extension, just take my hat off to the administration for believing in my vision, because I think to win now, at any universities, PWI or HBCU, you got to be aligned. But you got to be aligned with the head coach's vision. It can't be the president vision of the football program. It can't be the athletic director vision of the athletic program. Because if there was their vision, they need to get out there and call plays. They need to get up there and structure the practice if they want to be that involved. So my president's not involved like that. My athletic director's not involved like that, because they let me run the show. Because if you're aligned, you can win. You can win. But if you're not aligned and the president wants to be involved and the AD wants to be involved, everybody wants to be involved. But you know what? When you want to be involved with me, I'll put you on the board. Let's talk football. Let's talk football. I don't want to talk no budget. I want to talk
Yeah,
football. I want to talk what this three technique. If this three technique got a slant to this A gap, tell me what you telling. Where's your shoulder should be. So I start asking questions like that. So they don't play with me with that,
yeah,
because football is my thing. Administration thing. Administrators, they administrate. Trainers train. Coaches coach. And
right.
if more HBCUs can understand that, we're gonna be successful, because right now we are the developers. We're the developers. Before we were just the recruiters. Now we're developing kids, and they taking our kids. I done lost 15 kids to the portal since I've taken over, going into my third season. So
Wow.
we're aligned here at Grambling. I think it's going to my third year. I wish I could have came in and snapped my fingers and everything would have worked, but we had to build. So we builders over here, and we're going to continue to build.
Yeah. Speaking on that building thing, I think one of the number one things and I thought it was another great move by you, of course, is to bring Bruce Eugene back in as an offensive coordinator. I thought that was brilliant. The only unfortunate part, he's coming on top of a season about to start in about 15 to 20 days. It's and is it he coming in and learning, or you guys are trying to make all the players learn? How was that transition, and how it is to come in with Bruce, because he brings in not only just he's a very intelligent kid, uh, been a coordinator before, and he's a big fan of Grambling State University. Kind of tell us how is that helping you guys, and looking forward to this coming season.
Well, we're excited to have Bruce back. And one of my job as a head coach is to protect my assistant coaches. So the plays is going to come out of my mouth. And I told him last year, people didn't know who was calling the plays last year. So why they worried about it this year? So my thing is, we got a plan over here, and with Bruce coming in, Bruce brings a lot to the table. But with me, Johnny, the playbook on defense gonna stay the same long as I'm here, and the playbook on offense. I don't believe you bring a one guy in and you make everybody else learn. I think you make him learn. I'm paying him. I'm not paying them kids what I'm paying him. So he's got to learn, and he's got to catch up with us. And he's done a great job, a fabulous job of catching up, being a team player, understanding what I want with the offense.
Yeah,
It's what
yeah,
I want with the offense, because at the end of the day, if they let me go, they letting everybody else go too, because it's at will state.
that's right, right,
So
right.
let's
Yeah,
understand that.
hey, power is power. Whether
Exactly.
you call it powder, power, black down and around, it's the same play. It's just
It's just
terminology.
different. It's different terminologies, and he's
Yeah,
doing a great job. He's a great addition to the staff. He understands the position. He understands about calling plays. So eventually, he will get that title. But right now, I need to protect him right now, because until he's foot sink in the sand, and now he understands exactly what we want to do. But he's bought in. The quarterbacks are excited. Kids, the fan base is excited. But you know how I go. You know, they love you today, hate you tomorrow. You know, I heard somebody tell him yesterday.
Hey,
When they
I
gonna
don't mean to stick a knife in your side, because if you fumble on the 1 yard line, going in to win the game, hey,
you know,
I don't care who you are. Yeah,
they gonna hate you.
I'm gonna turn it over to my guys, man, because you know, me and you, we can talk
Yeah,
all
we can
night.
go all day.
Hey, Coach. I got just a couple questions, and I'll let the bishop ask you a couple questions. But Coach, you come in this conference and done some things that nobody has been able to do the past 5 years, Coach. Like you have beaten Jackson State 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
No one has been able to do that, and you beat them at your place, and you beaten them in Vegas last year.
Yes, sir.
However, you've lost 2 consecutive Bayou Classics, right?
Yes.
What is the status of your program currently, considering you've had those highs of not being able doing things that nobody else in the conference has been able to do, and also understanding the pressure of what the Bayou Classic means to your fan base? How do you regulate the expectations of your fan base, and also acknowledging that you've done some good things since you've been here?
I love our fan base. I really do. I love the support that we get. I love the fact that Grambling fans up front, they'll tell you what's on their mind. But if you're with them, you're with them. But since I've been here, we have 9 one-score losses. 9. Where we had the ball with 3:37, they gave the ball back to them. We up 17-15 with a minute 17 on the clock. They kick a field goal and beat us 18-17. So what we had to do this spring, we had to go back and do more 4-minute offense. Hey, it's 3:23 on the clock. No one timeout. We can't give the ball back. And we put the offense in that situation. We put the defense in a situation. 37 seconds on the clock, no timeouts. They're on the plus 35. You know, we down by 2. They got to kick a field goal to win. Don't let them get in field goal range. So we had to do more situational things with these kids to put them into situations that we lost games. And then I had to look at myself in the mirror. I'm the first person to look in the mirror. I have 2 timeouts left. They're running away from my bench. They're running away from my rotation. So I need to click over and tell the offensive guys, hey, I'm about to take a timeout to get a new set of D linemen in there because the other ones are tired. So I had to do that. I had to look at game management and see how we did it and what happened. So I take total responsibility for all those one-score losses, and everybody can't do that. And I know everybody don't like that. They like, oh no, he just takes. No, that's what men do. I had a dad growing up, and when you were wrong, you had to accept responsibility. And guess what? I'm not going to put the blame on nobody for these losses. Yes, we have beat Jackson State. So that shows you that we can play high level football, but we hadn't beaten the teams that we thought we should have beat. And so now we got to make sure that when we get in a situation, 4 minute, 2 minute, whatever it is, 4 minutes before the half, 4 minutes after the half, the 8 minute, the middle 8, we got to win all of that. So we work that and we continue to work that. And then we had to go back and we had to recruit. Like I said, I wish I could have plucked my fingers, snapped my fingers, and it would have changed, but it didn't. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue to build. But what I did now, I loaded this roster up with talent. I loaded up with talent. So it's not just 2 people in there. It's 3 or 4. If you look at my quarterback room, I have Jacoby Robinson, transfer from Southern Miss. Aston Fry, transfer from Jacksonville State, who's going on his 3rd year in the system. Then we got RJ Johnson, from FAMU, but he went to UMass for a little bit. That didn't work out over there. So, he identified what he see in the mirror. So he came on home, and then you have Benoit, the kid that played the last 4 games for us last year. Then you also have Skylar Turnbull, a big-time kid out of Oklahoma City. So we loaded that room up. So if that room's loaded, around the clock, everything's loaded. Everybody's there, everybody's in competition. I told the kickers today, it don't matter. When you go out there, you better make that kick. Because if you don't make that kick, I'm putting somebody else in. So we had to beef up the competition in the rooms, and we're going on year 3. So 62% of this roster is going on year 3 with me. That's ironic with the transfer portal.
Right.
That's really ironic. So now we got to see consistency. We're gonna be consistent in everything we do. Because I think in this conference, if you're consistent, you can win. If you're not, then that's when you lose games that you think you should win. So we try to be more consistent this year, but we do have a good roster and I have a good staff, and we're excited. We just gonna take one game at a time.
Coach, last thing I want to ask you, you brought up something that you've been able to keep your players, keep a lot of your players on your roster. That's something that a lot of people in the SWAC particularly had trouble with. Let me ask you this here, Coach. You also had trouble keeping your quarterback healthy these past 2 seasons. What have you done to address that situation? And what was your plan? Was your plan to address the health situation regarding your quarterbacks?
Put more of them in there. Got me like my boy from Indiana said. I got me a bigger gun. Because you can't control injuries. You can't control injuries. You just got to have it when the next man up mentality, but the next man up better have just as much talent as this guy. So we feel like we have 5 quarterbacks that we can win with. Everybody in the SWAT can't say that. We got 5 of them that I think we can win with. Jacoby Robinson, he's a 4th star coming out of high school. Ashton Fry, 3rd year in the program. RJ, we know what RJ did at FAMU last year. And then Hayden Benoit, he went 2-2. We played with our 4th-string quarterback last year. So we just loaded that room up just in case of injuries. Like I said, you might get me once, but you're not going to get me twice.
Yeah. One thing though, and this is your first time in your 3 years that you actually had a former quarterback in that room with them.
Exactly.
And of course, we all know how great Bruce Eugene was as a player.
And he's doing a great job with him because now he can see it through a quarterback eyes. And sometimes that's a position that you want an ex-quarterback in because they understand that's the way they saw it their whole life. It's through the quarterback eyes. And right now, those kids are taking snaps under the center. And they're because a lot of kids don't take snaps under the center. So we're going to be under the center sometimes. And they're doing a great job. And he's doing a great job of rotating them and making sure they all get reps. And I don't know how he's doing it, but I haven't had any complaints because everybody knows that we put them on paper. We grade them every day. And we're going to let the numbers tell us what's going on. Like we always say, men and women lie, numbers don't.
Right. Let me say this is the last thing because we've had several shows, right? And I've taken several text messages and calls behind the scene, and people are saying, "Hey, you better watch out. Bruce Eugene is back in the SWAC." And I have to remind them, Coach, Bruce Eugene is out of eligibility. He's played all the games he can play. Like they act like Bruce is gonna come in and have a season to top that 56 touchdown season he had at Grambling, whatever. Where does this excitement come? Like I say, I'm just getting understanding this HBCU environment. But people are actually, as the offensive coordinator, they have excitement around Bruce Eugene coming back to the program. What was your idea when you brought him back? Did you think it would create this kind of hysteria and excitement that and kind of stir the pot somewhat?
Oh, of course. I knew it. It was just no different with me going back to Nebraska when I went back. And I told Bruce Eugene the same thing, the mentality I had when I went to Nebraska. You need to carry yourself like you're gonna be the next head coach here. I'm 58 years old. I'm on the back 9. And I told him that. But right now, I want him to carry himself like he's gonna be the head coach. So he's gonna go to speaking engagements. He's gonna do everything that I asked him to do. But people don't understand. I've been knowing Bruce Eugene since he's been a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school. And also what goes in the part with that, I needed a New Orleans recruiter. If anybody recruited New Orleans, it's a different beast. To recruit New Orleans, you have to be from New Orleans to have success there. So when Bruce goes back to New Orleans to recruit, everybody knows him. Gramblin's excited. Bruce is excited. It wasn't easy getting Bruce from Syracuse. It wasn't easy. That we had to have some talks. We had to meet. We had to meet. For 3-4 hours. With I had my family involved. But But yes, they're excited about it. But no, Bruce don't have no more eligibility left. And I'm glad you said that. No, he
Hey,
can't bring them up.
hey, I know you wish, cause boy, let me tell you something.
Oh yeah, no. Hey,
Hey,
he still and
and
he
tell
still
him I
can spin
said
it.
this. Boy, that big fat boy, he could play.
Yeah,
Shit.
he can still spin it, and and the kids enjoy looking at his highlights and saying, "Oh, can you make this throw?" I'm like, "Yeah, he can make that throw." But you know what? He understands the position. But one thing he brings to the table, he understands playing quarterback here at Grambling. And I tell people all the time, when you play quarterback in Grambling, it's a different beast. Like now I have he got to answer those calls from Shaq and Doug like I have to answer the calls. He's got to answer them now, but he's gonna be fine here. He's gonna have a great career here. And one day Bruce is gonna shock the nation because Bruce is gonna make sure that we play high level offense. Around the clock.
Yeah, and coach, he got you. Don't shy away from your greatness and your body of work, and you've been in national championship games and you've been on both sides. So for Bruce, I think he's in the right place, he's at the right time, and he's
Yeah.
behind the right guy.
Well,
And I hope he understands that as well.
yeah, I think he does, and I think it helped Bruce about being at Syracuse. That he saw, okay, this they do it a certain way over there, and we don't do it no differently than I did it at Nebraska, or we did it at LSU. We don't have the resources, but meeting time is meeting time. That's why Bruce is not on his call right now, because he's in meeting from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. We got position meetings, so he's
Well,
got to be in position meetings right now.
well,
So we do things the same way. We
Well,
we, we
we only recruiting. We only talking to head coaches. Go. I'm telling you, like Campbell tell you, hey man, this is the coaches' corner, man. We want the bosses up front.
Yes, and I like you said, we happy to have Bruce, and I'm happy for the fan base because they love their Grambling players just like Nebraska, Oklahoma, LSU love their players. So like I said, he's gonna come, he's gonna do a great job here.
Hey, coach, that's interesting that you mentioned, because I'm somebody that's very familiar with what you did in Nebraska, and you were a trailblazer there in Nebraska, to be honest with you. And so he's in a great situation that you understand the prodigal son coming back home to deliver success, and what kind of pressure that creates, and you can help him navigate that space, coach. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point that you had it.
Yeah, and you
We
know what?
yield to the bishop.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, coach. Finish
No,
I'm I'm talking about Coach Josie. He was getting ready to finish his thought. Go ahead,
I'm
coach.
sorry, coach.
Well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
like and that's one thing about Bruce. Bruce. Like when Bruce stays with me right now. So Bruce don't stay with nobody. Bruce stay at my house. So we get to talk when he comes home. We wake up in the morning, we get to talk. So we spend a lot of time together. Like I say, Bruce from the crib. He from New Orleans. You been knowing Bruce. And everybody was talking about, well, he loyalty. Well, Bruce, everybody knows the deal about New Orleans boys. You gonna be loyal to us because we gonna be loyal to you. Y'all know how we get down.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have Bruce. I'm happy to have him. But at the end of the day, that ball gonna kick. How's Bruce doing? He gonna kick that ball up and try to whoop our butt. So we got to get ready for Clark, Atlanta, with Terry Sims and his crew. Terry's a great head coach, and it's gonna be a lot of unscouted looks because there's no film on him. So we got to get ready for that, and that's why we working to get our rules in check and doing everything possible.
Coach,
I want my Vegas tickets and my Clatton.
Hey, now Johnny, I see you at the Classic. I'll get you at the Classic. I got you at the Classic in Dallas. Johnny, I just moved hotels though, so I got to, I got to move hotels.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, let me just address this, coach, before I get started, because I got my background. Why does this dude have GSU gear on? Thought he went to fame. See, let me explain something to y'all youngsters. I had a business, and I was a sponsor for Grambling for 3 years. Grambling was the first school that allowed my business to come on campus. So anybody that pays me, I'm always going to be down with them. I'm always going to be down with him. And I'm down with Coach Joseph because, like I said, I followed his career. I've been down in New Orleans. I played Noah baseball, so I know exactly.
Oh, yeah, you know that. Yeah.
So, come on, Coach. So, see, these folks don't know how I move, Coach. Your president is my guy, Mark LaMelle. So, I'm going to always respect them G-men because they cut me a check when I first started. Because, as they say, you always somebody down there, ain't you, Coach? Everybody's somebody.
Everybody,
so that's my respect. So, don't try me on that. So, Coach, let's get this thing started. And appreciate you being on and stuff. Coach, a lot of people want to say that you're outspoken, Coach, but I like to say you're confident spoken. And I say that because when you say something, you mean it, and you have no problem answering questions to the reporters. And one of the things that it came out, there's a new ruling, and Coach, I think Rocky or Coach Cole talked about it, about now players can come back. But Coach, you said something interesting that one of your counterparts talked about. You talked about how many people you lost in the portal because of where you develop players. Because you made a statement and say, hey, listen, we need to really talk about maybe a buyout system where we're developing these players and these group of 5 and power 4 teams should pay us. Coach, I think there's some legitimacy, and I don't think when we see these rules, because all the rules are focused on really the Big Ten and SEC, let's be honest, right?
Yes.
But they don't address all the thousands of football players that actually play football that are affected. Coach, tell people why you thought about that and why you made that statement, and talk about, again, like you said, you are developing players, and that has always been the Grambling way. That's why they've had so many players in the NFL. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I said that from experience because I said that 2 springs ago. I said that 2 springs ago. Like if you're Penn State or you're Alabama or you're LSU and you got to reach down to FCS and pull my best receiver, that means you didn't do no recruiting. Because when I was at LSU, I didn't even touch FCS players. I didn't touch some of the FBS players. I got studs, so I was gonna have my guns gonna always be loaded. So whoever leaves out, I was gonna be able to have a dude that's sitting behind them. I wasn't gonna sit there and be looking at no FCS film because I always say they play a little slower football than we did in the SEC. So how can I evaluate that kid that he can play at LSU if he's at an FCS school, because he's playing at a lower level. So I'm gonna try to get somebody from the SEC. So I thought if they reach down that low from the Big Ten and come down to the SWAC, man, they should give me a buyout. They should give me some money. I said it. Everybody else was scared to say it. I said it. And then now everybody wants to say, oh, we need to talk about a buyout. Oh, man, Mickey Ben said that. And I tell him, come on, stop with that little boy stuff. Be a man about it and say it, because at the end of the day, the only person going to judge you is God. So say what's on your mind and be respectful about it.
Yeah, that was brilliant, Coach. I thought that was real brilliant. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, Coach, go ahead, please.
That was brilliant. I think it was on point. I think really the people need to look into that. We're talking about because hey, it's like the NFL. If the NFL go get a player, they got to pay his contract out and everything else. I think it's the same principle. But go ahead, Coach Campbell. I just want to comment.
No, please, no. But Coach, that's why I made the statement about being confident spoken instead of being outspoken. Because see, what a lot of people, Coach, I think you're this type of person. People would let us and HBCUs get screwed over and let them make these rules, and we don't say anything, and then we go back and say, oh, I can't believe this rule hurts us. Well, how about you speak up in front before the rule even gets passed, so at least can note that we're standing on business like you did. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring that out, because I think that's very important, because these rules, again, Coach, as you know, again, going to the rev share and things like that, there was no discussion with the HBCUs how that was going to affect us and things like that. But you know what? And again, nothing against the commissioner, but he had to look at it and say, because the rule was passed, what was he supposed to do? We can't do it. So guess what? He said, you know what? We're going to move as a conference to do it. You as a coach, now you got to fundraise even more just to meet that part of the rule and things like that. So I think that's just really important. Why I want people to understand the type of man you are and the type of coach. Now, Coach, here's the thing I want to talk about your recruiting. I looked at, we always come out every year and they talk about, the preseason SWAC teams, stuff like that. Grambling is a proud bunch. And I was really shocked when I thought, Coach, I think they gave you a little bit of disrespect on the players that you got coming back. But there was 2 players that were nominated for all SWAC. That was Alexander Vigil, your offensive lineman, and your linebacker, Marcellus Johnson. Talk about those 2 guys that were all SWAC, and talk about some other guys that should have been all SWAC that you got coming back.
Well, Vigil's the leader. He's a 3-year, really a 3-year starter, and he's a kid out of Houston, Texas. And, when Coach Nelson and I went to go see him, Sam Pittman was there, and Sam Pittman, I know he was looking for 6'4", 6'5" guys, and I knew if the kid was 6'2", that we would get him. He played in the state championship. He's a tough nosed kid out of Houston, and he's the leader of our offensive line. And he broke his hand last year right before the PV game. He broke his hand that Thursday, so we played without our center the PV game. But the game before that, we lost our left tackle. So nobody wants to talk about that also, because we don't make excuses. We lost. We got to go next man up. But he's a great leader. He's got the offensive line really rolling right now because he's the leader. He makes all the calls. We happy to have him. We happy to have him. He comes from a great family. His family's really supportive of us, and we enjoy having him around. And when you talk about Marcellus, Marcellus was a walk-on here out of Georgia. And when I came in and took the job, the only thing I seen this kid do is work. He was coming off an ACL injury. And the only thing every time I went in the weight room, he was working. He was working, didn't say one word to me. And then when he started playing, he jumped on special teams. And then last year, he just was making tackles after Andrew Jones. We lost him to Ole Miss. So Andrew Jones goes to Ole Miss, and this kid steps in. But two good kids that I brought the SWAC media days with me. I picked those two kids before the SWAC championship. The SWAC team even came out. I told those two kids that they were going. So and it happened that they both got second team. But we always tell them like this: it's preseason rankings, and these guys that pick these preseason rankings, they're usually always wrong. They're usually always wrong. They always pick somebody to win it. The next thing you know, that's why I was hoping that they didn't pick me, because I was like, when they pick you, you always lose. Because sometimes your kids read that, but my kids don't read that. We in Grambling, nobody's bringing up that we picked second, and we didn't take pictures with the trophy, there, because we're gonna use that for our bulletin board. Like, hey, they already thought they won it at the SWAC media days. So we have a good football team. We have some good players to come in the door. I think we have almost not 8 or 9 new starters on defense, kids that's been in the program though. Because remember what I said, 62% of this roster's going on their 3rd year with us. We redshirted 33 kids the first year we were here. 1 kid is going to Penn State. 2 kids we played. The rest of these kids are still here with us. So that's why our roster is 62% of our kids are still here with us. So they understand what's going on both sides of the ball, because retention is big. Retention is big. And you know what? I got that from Dion, because Dion said freshmen only play 5% of the year. So guess what I did? I redshirted all of them. And now these kids, that redshirt sophomore class is here. They've been here. They're 3rd year, but they're redshirt sophomores. So we had a plan, and we had to take some lumps with it. But now the plan's coming to light right now. So we happy, that we did that. So we're gonna continue just to get better every day we go on the field.
Now, Coach, everybody knows you're an elite recruiter. So one of the things I found interesting, it looks like, and I could have went up since the last I checked, you bring in 30 kids. 21 of them, I believe, are from the portal. 15 of them from the state of Louisiana. You being an elite recruiter, when you went in that portal, what was a G-man for Mickey Joseph look like when you went in there and got those kids from the portal?
We had to be long. We had to be long. We had a certain height that we want. We want you to be a certain weight. We didn't want too many kids that we had to knock weight off, because it's hard to do that at HBCUs, because the cafeterias, they cook such good food. So you ain't losing the weight when you come here, but you can gain some weight. So that plan had to go into effect. Or do we want this, big old kid, this 6'2" kid, 340 pounds? Okay, we might take 1 or 2 of them, but we won't take a lot of them. So if you look at our team their team this year is long, and they're athletic, and we don't have too many kids that we have to knock weight off. But when we go in the portal, I tell them the truth. I tell them what I heard about them and what happened at the school and why they're in the portal, because they're in the portal for a reason. And when they come to me and they say, well, they want this, want that, I ask them, do you want to win? Do you want to win? We had a receiver, Dylan, that's from Langston. He had 105 yards of receiving against us. So he wanted to be receiver 1. I told him, you're not going to be receiver one. I don't know who's going to be receiver one. I said, but you hit us for 100 yards, but we beat you 55-0. So tell me what you about. And guess what? That kid's here right now because we tell these kids the truth. RJ, you went to UMass. It didn't work out. This is what we're gonna do here. I'm never gonna kick you off, but I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna rip your ass, and then guess what? I'm gonna put you back in there, but I'm never gonna leave you. So we don't. They know me. They know me. I have an open door. I'm gonna tell them the truth. You know, and if I can help them, I'm gonna help them. If I can't help them, I'm not gonna hurt them. But I won't beat them with the pen. I've been in so many meeting rooms where our kids get beat with the pen. That the coach tell them one thing, but when they get in that meeting room with their head coach, they're saying something totally different. And that's when I used to look at him in the meetings like, you ain't tell that kid that? How you gonna tell that man that? You know? But we don't do that. We shoot him straight. And I make sure my coaches shoot him straight. If my coaches don't shoot him straight, I have some coaches who's not here right now because they didn't shoot him straight. You know, because we're going to shoot them straight because they're in the portal for a reason. We're going to give you the opportunity because you can help us win, but you're not going to go through the same thing you did at the school before. So we happy to have our transfer kids. They understand where we stand at, and we don't meet them on their side. They don't meet us on our side. We meet in the middle. That's how you're going to raise young men. Like I say, I'm not raising little boys. I'm trying to raise a man. So we're going to read in the middle, and they do have a say-so. They do have a voice, and I do listen to them. And sometimes that's all they want you to do is listen. And when you listen, and I tell them, that don't make no sense. And it's like, why? Then look at what you said. Look at what you said. And they understand that. So I enjoy my players. I love my players. I love my coaches. I love Grambling. And we got this thing rolling in the right direction. And one thing I know everybody don't want, they don't want this giant to wake up, but we about to wake up.
Now, Coach, now you brought in 9 freshmen. So it sounds like you have a philosophy about freshmen. So you said, hey, you know what? My group of guys, I've registered. You talked to Dion. You said I've registered to build these guys up, and they know what be. Because I know. Let me tell you something, Coach. Like I said, I sponsored the dance team down there. I watched for. So while my people doing that, I would just watch practice. So and me growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, I knew what that G meant. That was a real thing. And you know, from the alumni, I'm sure they call you every day supporting you. But what about it when you talk to those freshmen? How many of them understand what being a G-man is and what it means to go, like especially for New Orleans, to go up to North Louisiana for those 9 that you got?
I always say our offer, when we offer a kid in Louisiana, holds a lot of weight. Holds a lot of weight. We rarely lose kids.
Hey, must have been his phone ran out of juice, I guarantee you.
Either that or Southern folks was getting upset and cut his feed.
Hey,
man, hold on, Rocky. Let me get on my soapbox. So, man, listen, HBCU Coaches Corner. But let me explain something too. And I guess this is a new watcher. But let me explain something to you guys about me that do not know me. I am a supporter of all HBCUs. Just because what you don't do, but let me tell you something. I made thousands of dollars with Grambling State. I sponsored Grambling with thousands of dollars. Those people are great people. So I'm never going to sit back there, and this is no disrespect to FAMU. I'm from Jackson. Everybody knows I love Jackson State. But one thing about it, when it comes to Grambling, it is a very special place in my heart. And those people are watching that show. They've already texted me, hey, Mr. Campbell, we miss you down there. I'm going to show those people respect. So do not think you're going to get on this chat and talk about what you going to do, because you ain't me. Because see, I sponsor many HBCUs. So until you drop them checks like I have, I can wear anything I want. That's all I got on that.
Hey, they act like you belong to the Rattlers.
Well, no, it ain't even a rattler. My problem is it ain't my FAMU people.
You don't think it's a rattler? He might be a rattler.
No, absolutely not. Because my FAMU people know me. See, that's what I'm saying. First of all, FAMU people, we're not uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? We brag different. We don't get lost like that. So I don't know what's.
Man, you might be in. Hey, you may be in violation of some rattler rule. They got.
I'm gonna say this again. There are many rattlers in this chat. They know what kind of business I do, and we are, bro. Let me tell you something. We are unbothered. We don't get caught up like that. That's the difference about FAMU folks compared to other things. We don't get caught up on that. Now, if you so touched that you can't wear something else, that's on you. I mean, that's your insecurity. That ain't mine. Come on, man. That ain't mine. But I just have to let them, because you get in this chat and you saying that like you saying something strong, and you don't even know me like that. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Respect me, because I'm a type of person that go and sponsor these HBCUs. That's all my point up there.
Hey, we got him back. We got him back.
Coach back.
No. Tell them let's just get together at 8 in the morning. Okay, I'm back.
All right,
I want to
thanks,
tell
coach.
them. Yeah, but
Hey,
like I said, we when you talk about kids in the state of Louisiana, they understand what the G stands for, and also they also understand like they have family members that go to Southern, and that's what makes it such a great rivalry. When we play Southern because families are split for that day. Marshall's my boy. Me and Marshall's cool. So, but I'm gonna be rooting for Marshall, throughout the season except for 1 week. So it's a great opportunity for me to be able to coach at Grambling. It's a great opportunity for Marshall to coach at Southern. And like I said, it just happened one Saturday where you just got to get it on. And we hadn't won that game. The first year I didn't think we played very well. But the second year we played with our backup quarterback and a couple of calls here, calls there, that we probably should have won the game. But like I said, that don't go in football. But we're excited about this season with this team, and like I said, we just gonna hit the field and continue to get better. We're going on our 4th day. Tomorrow's our off day. We go 3 and we off 1. Then we'll be off tomorrow with meetings, and then we'll be back on the field on Wednesday.
hey, coach. Let me ask you this, coach. I looked over your coaching staff because and you got some very interesting a guy that jumped out at me being that I'm a Texas guy. You guys have a guy on staff by the name of Willie Mack Garza. Anybody from Texas knows that Willie Mack is a high school football legend, former Texas alumni. Did you add any other guys other than Bruce Eugene to this year's staff, or did you stand packed with Coach?
No, I have Coach Varner. Varner played here, and then Coach Zachary. Coach Zachary played here also because I lost both of my D-line guys. I lost one to Bowie State with Odoms, and I lost one to SMU. So I replaced them with 2 guys that played at Grambling, 2 energetic young guys. Because we split my D tackles and D ends up. We think that's 2 different worlds. It's hard to coach 4. So we split them up. So that was.
He getting those phone calls. So we
You've been making 6 digits since 1985.
Hold on, coach.
So
Coach, wait a
I
minute.
love
Wait,
Willie
coach.
Mack. Willie Mack
Coach.
understands
Coach.
what he brings to the table, and
Coach, we missed a lot of. We were
me?
getting phone calls, and we missed a lot of what you were saying. So you were making a really great point.
Huh? No, I'll give it to yes. Hey, you turn it off.
Yeah, I'm about to get out.
All right, because he's in my truck.
Sorry, I don't want to cook.
Hey, coach, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear us, coach?
Tell Reggie to turn it off. Hello.
Can you hear us, coach? Yeah, he'll have to rejoin.
Yeah, and we probably need to shorten it up.
Okay.
It's football time, so if
Yeah.
we come back on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to him about
Campbell
his coaching staff and the new guys that he brought on. He said, and we got some information here. Now I don't know if it's credible, but MC Unrivaled said Zachary and Bruce were teammates. Okay, we'll maybe so. That's always good to have guys with connections on the staff.
Well, it's always, you bring. I mean, and it's a two-way fold too. Let me say this, and one of the things that I've talked with Bruce about, not about being loyal, about watch what you say. But go ahead, Coach. You back?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Coach.
and Johnny, I'm glad you talked to him about that because I said the same thing to him. I mean, it's not the first time I had Grambling guys on my staff, and my thing is this: one thing my daddy taught me, Robert Joseph taught me, is about loyalty, and no matter where you're at, you need to be loyal, and I tell him, don't get caught up in that foolishness here, because at the end of the day, Grambling won't save you from me. If I think you're this law, I'm going to cut your neck off, and I don't care who don't like it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got to be loyal to me before Grambling.
Yeah.
Because if it comes to situation between Grambling and an individual, they're gonna pick Grambling. So I gotta find people that's loyal to me first, where they can't run to somebody and just start talking foolishness. And if I find out that you came behind me, you did that, then I'm gonna deal with you the appropriate way.
Yeah. I think he's just ready. I think we need. Of course, I'm a big SWAC guy, and I just like to see SWAC guys come back.
Oh, I love
I
it.
can't say enough about Mickey that you bringing him back. I think that's big.
And
That
but
says
Johnny,
something about you.
yeah, but everybody's like, oh, you bringing Bruce back? You. I'm not worried about Bruce. Man, Bruce is me and Bruce been talking. Me and Bruce
Right.
talked before we took this job. Now, man, Bruce know me and I know Bruce.
Right.
Bruce is law and I'm law to Bruce. Just like
Right.
Bruce is law to me, I'm law to Bruce. Like you ain't gonna be to say nothing bad about Bruce when I'm sitting in that room. Like you can't say nothing bad about Johnny when I'm sitting in that room. You know?
Yeah. I
Because-
remember talking with Doug Williams and him and Melvin and the head coach. What's the guy head coach at Tampa Bay now? Can't think of his name, but
Bowles.
Coach Bowles. That was also on that staff, man. And you talk about friends and close friends, man. But when it came to the business side of it, see, them dudes had 3 winning seasons and 2 national championships. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just the thing. I just want to just make sure that me, Joe, man. I'm all these young coaches, big brother or pop or uncle or whatever, man. And I just like to see success. I like to see black men have success.
Well, I tell them all the time, and I respect Tremaine to the fullest, but Tremaine's one of yours too.
Yeah.
And everybody, Tremaine says this, Tremaine says that. Well, I don't have a problem with Tremaine. I back Tremaine on some of the things that he say, and Tremaine's gonna say what's on his mind. But Tremaine's a great head coach, and PV's not the old PV. I don't care what nobody says. They're not the old PV, and I don't know why everybody says, "Oh, that's PV." No. He got that thing rolling. He got that thing rolling.
Hey,
so
you got that thing rolling back when we weren't born or we were too young. PV used to be hell.
Yeah, and so
we weren't born.
Yeah, so well, I tell them all the time. I say, it's just the fact that we have good coaches in a SWAC. We have really good coaches in a SWAC, and nobody wants to give these guys credit. But guess what? Y'all come get our players though.
Right. Hey, Coach, speak. I wanna address something, Coach, because it was because your contract situation and because of the movement of coaches at a higher level in your region, people were wondering if the reason why you hadn't signed your contract was because there was some other opportunity out there for you. I was ecstatic when found out that you were re-signed and extended. But let me ask you this, Coach, frankly. Were there other opportunities out there that you considered before signing your extension?
I think it was, I have an agent, Robbie Poplin, that does a great job, and he presented some things, and I wasn't going to leave a head coaching position. Okay, I'm gonna say it, to go be a do boy. I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna go get 500,000 and not be happy, But the opportunity was, we was waiting on to see if my brother Vance got a job. And if my brother Vance had got a job, then I would have to sit back and make a decision about what I was going to have to do. And that's that. And that didn't really come into play because the buyout, if I had to go to the NFL, the buyout wasn't going to be a problem. But we were just going to look around and see if it was going to be a good fit. But right now, like you said, I've been doing it for a while, and I enjoy being a head coach. And I enjoy having my own program. So I wasn't going to leave here to go be somebody, just this. I'm the one that has to talk to the knuckleheads. I'm the one that have to go pick them up. I'm past all that. I'm past all that. I'm more to face-to-face come in my office, sit down, and I always thought I could develop them better here at Grambling, because I run the program. And that's what I had. That's what I had to do. But we all thought my brother VJ was gonna take one of the jobs, and he didn't think any of the jobs in the NFL was a good fit for him at the time. I guess because he didn't do it. But he like I said, him and my cousin Terry both in the league, so they're making good money. They good.
That's an interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach, because there was a lot of speculation around what was taking so long for you to sign your extension, and there were rumors out there, or whatever, that you would go be with coaches who had recently took head coaching jobs. But adding that perspective, that you're committed to being a head coach, you enjoy running your own program. For me as a black man and somebody who admires a black men who aspire to be great leaders, I'm very happy to hear you say that, Coach, because I think chasing the money sometimes there's diminishing returns on it.
Yeah, we tell kids. I tell kids this all the time. That's in the transfer portal. I said sometimes when you chase that bag, you miss out on the right fit. And I had to take what I say. I had to look at it the same way. And I got two kids in out there with I got two kids in Arizona that I can move the schedule how I need to move the schedule, because I got one. She's a big time flag player out there, and I have a young one that's in school out there also. So I can make the schedule how I want to make the schedule, and spend more. This is the most I ever spend time with my kids. Because my kids before, the profession has raised them, because you're never there. The money's there, but you're not there. But I'm there with these kids because I'm the head coach and I can make the schedule, and I don't have to be there all the time.
Where's your daughter? Who is she playing for ASU?
No.
Or is she still in high school?
No, Melania 11. She's playing with the 12 and under. The Dizzy Bees, somebody out there in Arizona, and they just left.
I referee all the girl flag football games. I'm crying out there with your daughter.
Yeah, so you probably see my ex-wife out there. The Mexican girl. Good looking girl right there, huh?
All right, Coach. Don't get in no trouble now. Don't get in no trouble.
Now,
man, I'll call you after the show, man. But really, I referee all the women games out here, the girls.
Yeah.
Out here.
So yeah,
it's some pretty good teams.
Yeah, she plays on two really good teams. So that's it. But I don't mean nothing about that. But you know how it is. It's just you got kids, and you gotta try to be the best father you can be.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this, because listen, I got to keep going back. Grambling is a standard bearer for this conference.
Yes, sir.
Grambling is one of the most recognized brands in football. But, Coach, listen, I got three things I want to ask you, because, listen, I know them G-men down there, and I know they talk to you. Coach, you got Prairie View, September 26th, Alcorn, October 3rd, and Jackson State, October 10th. Coach, talk to me during that stretch, and talk to me what you're going to do to win that, and that's going to propel you to win that West.
Well, you got Alabama A&M on the 17th. I don't want to leave them out because you
No.
leave
I'm not leaving them out. But Coach, if you don't have that stretch, it don't matter what happened on the 17th.
No, you're right. Now, that's a stretch. That's a stretch, and that's a weekly battle, and you got to look at them one at a time. I always say the Alcorn game is some tough-nosed kids out of Mississippi. Same thing with Jackson State. They do a good job in the portal. And, so you really have to...
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.